Good evening. We'd like to welcome you all to our monthly Shola Unified School District Board meeting. Before we call this meeting to order, we'll have a Pledge of Allegiance by Mrs. Lizardi and an invocation by Mr. Perkins.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father in heaven, we're thankful that we could meet tonight for this school board meeting. We're thankful for our students and our teachers and for all the efforts that go into their days. We're grateful for the good things that are happening in our district, for the accomplishments. We ask that thou will continue to bless our students, that they will be able to master the concepts that are put before them. We ask for moisture upon our dry and thirsty land, that our country will be blessed and nourished. And we ask for these things and say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 3.2, High School Robotics Club recognition. Mr. Housley?
Mr. Adams, is Mr. Adams here? Mr. Adams is not here. Are you, Mr. Martin, are you here to help present for that? No? Do we have the robotics club here? Okay, they are not here, Mr. President. We can move on. Congratulations to our high school robotics club.
Yeah, we want to commend them for their achievements. 3.3, recognition of legendary staff members.
Mr. President, members of the board, I invite you to go out to your position here. Mrs. Boyer does have the certificates. We'll go ahead and invite Mrs. Jaramillo to come forward first. And
Do you have them by you saw?
Yeah, I got it here.
So you got them all?
Yep.
Okay.
Why'd you leave me? Why'd you leave me?
Good evening. I'm so happy to introduce to you Michelle Shoup. Michelle was an amazing find this year. I tell Beth Marsh all the time, wow, did you find a good one here? So Miss Shoup, she teaches special ed on our campus. And so you know how I like to ask people, well, tell me what you think about Miss Shoup, because I know I adore her and she's brilliant. My teacher said, I love the passion for special ed kids she has. She is an encyclopedia on dyslexia. Her follow-through is amazing. She's a go-getter. She came in ready to go and not afraid to get herself. She said, I wanted to say get dirty, but I said, kind of get in the weeds. She gets in the weeds. That's the new word I keep hearing. And so she said, yes, that's where Michelle goes. A multitasker, calm in chaos, and fun. So I asked her kids what they think about her. And so this one little girl particularly, she struggled so much with reading. And I mean, it was just every day was a meltdown because she just couldn't grasp the concepts. And she said, reading is hard for me, but she's teaching me how to read. And they said she has lots of fun stuff in her room. And then another little girl told me she makes time for me even when she doesn't really have time. And then one little girl told me she gives good rewards to kids when they deserve them only. And so she was what were you, a horse trainer?
Yes.
A horse trainer. So she uses a lot of those techniques, she says, on calming children down. Anyway, she was, man, a jewel that we found. You gotta go up there. I know. You gotta. You have to get your chips taken pictures. Wait.
One, two, three. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Hall has gone back to have his son graduate from law school, and he's invited Mrs. Provost to come and announce the Nicholas Homestead.
Mr. Hall asked me to take his place today while he was not here, and I have the honor of recognizing three amazing women I've totally enjoyed working with tonight, and I have had the privilege of working with all of them. First is Elizabeth Davis. I remember the first time I met Elizabeth, she told me she taught in Clay Springs, and I went home and said to my husband, "Where's Clay Springs?" Elizabeth had taught in Clay Springs for 6 years, first and second grade combination class. And then when she came over to Nicholas Homestead, she taught a first grade for 3 years, and then fourth grade for 2 years, and then she's been working with me in third grade for the last 4 years. She's taught for 15 years in the Show Low School District. She is leaving us, and we're going to miss her dearly. She's working on her own reading program and starting a new chapter in her life of tutoring and stuff, but we're sure going to miss her. And she is a wonderful teacher, and we sure will miss her in third grade. The next is Rosie. Where's Rosie? Come on, Rosie. Rosie Lauritsen has been teaching for 32 years. I bow down to her. I'm not too far behind. She enjoys teaching a range of grades. She taught in Idaho, California, and Arizona. I didn't know that, Rosie. Her favorite grade was fourth grade. She spent most of her years teaching that grade. She says that teaching added a sweetness and fun to her life that few people ever get to experience. She will always have great memories of the years she has taught for fourth grade. She says she feels lucky to have worked at Show Low, where she was surrounded with beauty and the people who are close-knit and caring about each other. She feels really blessed for her and her husband's life. She does plan on coming back to substitute, so that's great. And then the last person is Leslie Overson, but she can't be here. She's out of town. My first year here, I worked third grade with Leslie and Jeanette Ferdinand and those guys, and they became my family. Leslie has taught in Show Low for 19 years. She grew up here. She graduated from high school in 1976 here. She got married and she had her 5 children that they all also went through Show Low. When her youngest daughter was 3, she started teaching at Whipple, and she taught third grade for 13 years. And then she moved to the fourth grade accelerated when we reorganized the schools. So I was glad when she came back and I got to work with her again. Let's see. Oh, so she enjoyed her years working in Show Low. I have worked with wonderful administrators and staff who have helped me and supported me along the way, is one of the things she said. And she will miss us, and we definitely will miss her. But these guys are amazing, and we're sure going to miss them.
You're more than welcome.
Trying to sneak away.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let me just do a couple more. We're good. Thank you.
Dr. Dorsett?
Alrighty, good evening, everyone. I'd like to invite Mrs. Alsobrook up here to celebrate her as legendary staff for Shiloh Junior High this month. She, in my humble opinion, is kind of like the backbone of our entire existence at Shiloh Junior High. She keeps us together. She schedules kids. She works with the kids and talks to them about any kinds of academic or sometimes, social issues that they might have. She attends PLCs. She is awesome at building consensus and mediating. I mean, the list could go on. She's all over the place all the time. I think you probably get all of your steps in like every day at the school. She is just masterful at what she does. And she also helps support and sponsor National Junior Honor Society at the junior high. So I'm sure I'm missing like 1,000 other duties that you do for us. But I had a couple staff leave some very positive and very heartfelt notes that I'd like to read. So the first is, Heather is always the first person to step up and help anyone who needs it. She is kind to others. Students and staff trust her because of her kind spirit. Heather is also a fantastic sense of humor. She is very talented at making people laugh. It is a pleasure to work with her, and she has definitely earned the title Legendary Staff Member. Another says, to me, Mrs. Alsobrook also represents the voice of reason and calm during many of the storms of our staff, of our students are experiencing. She has a deep knowledge of teaching profession, is humble when explaining things to us, and never makes us feel uncomfortable. She is supportive of everyone on our staff and keeps a positive spin on every situation. So I think those pretty much encapsulate how awesome you are. So thank you.
Thank you.
You gotta stand in ovation.
We're good. Thank you.
Mr. Marchant?
All right. Either side. Yeah. So I want to present to you for the legendary staff member of Shiloh High School, Mrs. Julie Cota. I cannot tell you guys how difficult it is to find qualified guidance counselors. And she literally fell to us from the sky, but more realistically, she drove to us from Tucson, but kind of the same difference, right? So she's amazing. She's new to Shiloh High School, but was quick in earning the respect of administration, teachers, and students. Ms. Cota brings refinement and professionalism to the counseling department. One of her coworkers stated that she knows her responsibilities as a counselor better than any counselor I've ever worked with. And I can state that too. I mean, we are really, our team right now is just fantastic with our counseling team. And she just brings so much knowledge, it's unbelievable. I go in there regularly, and she could attest to this. I'm just in there, okay, so what do I do about this? What can I do with this? And then I leave and steal all our ideas and take the credit. It's awesome. So another coworker had stated she's goal-oriented and data-driven to identify the needs of students. And again, that perfectly describes her. So I want to list some of the items and relationships that have been shored up by Mrs. Cota. First, the NCAA Clearinghouse and Student Athlete Scholarships, the Arizona Board of Regents, College and Career Readiness label for Shola High School, AZCIS and ECAP, the Arizona Career Action Plan for students, and numerous small internal items that align scheduling and counseling processes. But most of all, from what I've seen, the greatest quality about Mrs. Cota is that she has that unique ability to tell anyone, be it a student or the principal or anyone, to tell them how it is. And yet they leave smiling and going, wow, she was such a nice lady. It's like, how did you just do that? You just, ripped into this person and told them exactly how it was, and they shook your hand and gave you a hug and talked about how great you were. So she just has that God-given ability to do that, and it is so nice to have someone like that on staff, because that sort of honesty truly leads to trusting relationships and better schools. And so we really, truly are a better school because of what she's been able to bring to us. So thank you, Ms. Cota. Yeah.
Mrs. Clark?
Members of the board, it's my pleasure tonight to represent or recognize rather Mrs. Kim Waters as my legendary staff member. Kim is not just a colleague, she's a good friend of mine, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. 2 years ago, we found that we had a need to create a position that would support students who have a primary home language other than English, kids that need a little bit of extra help in kind of those English language skills. And so Kim came to serve and help us out there. And so she kind of created from the ground floor a structured English immersion class where before there was none. And so she really kind of took that and made it her own. Her class is a little family, and if you get the chance to pop in there and see her in action, you'll see what we see every day. Those kids are happy, they love her, and she's just created a little kind of oasis for them over at Nicholas Homestead. The parents feel so comfortable and confident with Mrs. Waters that when talking to a 5th grade parent in February about the transition to the junior high, she asked if Mrs. Waters could come with her daughter and be at the junior high as a resource. So I think that speaks volumes to the relationship she's been able to build. Last month we went through kind of awkward monitoring process with the Department of Education. They come and kind of pick things apart and look at your program and all of those components. And they had the best things to say about Kim and about her program and about her classroom, about her students. The one representative from ADE said that structured English immersion program at Nicholas Homestead is the crown jewel of the ELL program at Shola Unified School District, and that was not a surprise to me. Actually, one of them maybe said that she saved your bacon in the long run because it was such a great program and it was just such a strength and spoke to kind of our priorities for our students that have English language needs. We definitely would not have gotten through that without her. Something that I admire about Kim is that she is always willing. She never tells me no. even when it's last minute. I've called and asked her to do professional development for other teachers. I've called and asked her to host a impromptu parent night. I've called and asked her to help me with programmatic questions, and she never turns me down. She always has the right answers. And when I called Mr. Hall to ask his blessing to recognize her, he said, "Oh, I'm so glad, that you are taking the time to recognize Kim," because he also echoes those sentiments about her. So for all of these reasons, tonight I would like to recognize Kim Waters as my legendary staff member.
Okay, we're good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. That concludes our legendary staff this evening.
Thank you so much. We appreciate everything you do. Moving on to item 3.4, superintendent reports to include comments on extracurricular activities, curriculum, and current events.
Mr. President, members of the board, thank you. I want to lead out. I certainly hope that you had the chance to go to the play production at some point. Had the chance to go and thought that it was very well done. The cast was wonderful. It was a very enjoyable experience. I can tell you, talking to some that were involved, they were excited to do it, and they're glad that it's over. You know that it does take a lot of time and effort, and months of preparation goes into that, and we applaud them for their efforts. Also, spring sports have wrapped up, and our track team, baseball and softball, all did very well, and got to compete at the state level, and we had some kids in track that finished very, very respectfully. Hopefully, everyone had the opportunity outside the building here. We're not going to take too much time to talk about the bond, but I want you to just know a couple of things. Outside, there's a bus. When we ordered them, they said maybe by the first day of school. A week after that, they said maybe by June. And so we got even more excited, and then we got word about 2 weeks ago that they were on the road ready to come. And so we received the first of those buses today. We'll receive the majority of the rest of them tomorrow, and then the final shipment will come in next Friday. And so we're excited about that, them being this early, and we'll have those ready to roll for the first day of school next year. Also, along the lines of the bond, the Bond Oversight Committee has been meeting. We just met recently to review some of the project priorities. We have architects that are now designing, drawing black line plans to give us some options for increasing the security at all of our sites, the safety features and things. We have those in front of us now, and those will be ready for review, and we're excited about that opportunity. Just look at that picture right there, outside with the bus. Also, we are really excited. The budget that was just passed, we've been going over some preliminary numbers and projections that we have. There's some details that still have to be worked out as far as our finalized ADM. We have to project out what that'll look like. We're looking to find out exactly what those numbers are when our budget comes out. Mr. Schubert will be attending a meeting in the Valley next week to go over the worksheets that come out every year as a result of the budget. just to, in our preliminary projections, it looks like this first round of funding inside that budget will increase our teacher salary, average teacher salary from around 42,000 to just over 51,000. So we're really excited about the way that that looks and what it does for, what it means for our district. So, Mr. President, that's my report, and appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Item 3.5, call to the audience. We have two folks that would like to address the board. Remind you that we have a 3-minute time limit. We'll begin with Mrs. Houston, if that's okay.
Hi, thank you for allowing me to speak. The first thing that I did want to do is I wanted to thank the district and the board for supporting the teachers through their fight to get more funding to the school. And I'm very excited to say that we did get some, so we're super happy about that. So what I wanted to talk about today is that I wanted to look at ways that we could try to help some of our teachers that had been frozen or had not been given their years through their time when they were hired, or those that had stayed with Sholo instead of bouncing district to district to get the raises. I made a public records request, and I looked at the information on education that teachers had and their years of experience to try to figure out about how much it would cost. When I looked at it, though, I realized that the numbers are very wrong. So I would ask that the board and the district would consider auditing those numbers to try to find out where people really stand in their years of experience. Today, just a quick look down my hall. I asked 9 teachers experience, what kind of education do you have? 6 out of 9 of them were incorrect on the report that I received. 1 was over-reported, 5 were under-reported. So if we look at, well, are our teachers actually being underpaid compared to our salary schedule, we get an erroneous picture of that. Because I see like 35. And some of those are just off by $10. But if we were to actually bring in everybody's experience, what they should have, instead of what that report says, I think that we would find that there are more that need to have a little boost to get themselves where they need to be. And I think that would have to be our first priority, is to look at those teachers and say, let's get you to at least where the salary schedule is. Let's get you to where we would hire you in at. And then we look at the money left over and say, now what can we do for all of our teachers? Where can we spread what's left over after that? That's pretty much it. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kent? Can't read your last name, I apologize.
No,
Skipper.
thanks, because I'm off college Skipper a lot, and it's Dutch, so I'm Kent Skipper. So thank you for the opportunity for me to speak to you tonight, and it's good to see familiar faces, Mrs. Anderson and Mrs. Lizardi, and I am a 36-year professional career teacher, and 26 years I spent teaching 8th grade life science right up in the school, right up the hill. Excellent science room at the junior high. Now it's in elementary. I enjoyed many years of excellent students making excellent science projects and winning first, second, third place awards at regional, district, and state science fairs. I'm here tonight really fired up by walking in and marching with the Red for Ed in Sholo here. And also watching 50,000 professional teachers, including my son, who teaches at Winslow Junior High. They were marching at the state capitol. Governor Ducey has said that all teachers will get a 20% raise over 3 years. Unfortunately, Ducey has said many things to try to be our educational governor. And I haven't really seen much for being an educational governor. And today's paper, Montini said that the 20% raise for teachers was really 100% fish feces. And that's a biological term I use instead of the BS that he put. I have tried to communicate to Governor Ducey and legislators that they can not just give raises to teachers. That is your job, and the school board's job, and the local administrators. Therefore, I'm going to be coming to future board meetings to follow this money and see what happens, and see if teachers do get the money that Ducey is talking about. As a retired AAA professional teacher, I look forward to the actions of this board and all state boards, and hopefully seeing teachers treated respectfully and paid professionally. Thank you much.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments. 3.6, future board agenda items. Do we have anything?
No.
Okay. 4.1, approval of overnight and out-of-state travel.
Mr. President, members of the board, we have several items for your consideration this evening. Mr. Adams has requested approval for Jerry Butler to attend the SNEAK on the Lot Summer Workshop in Burbank, California. Also, Mr. Hall has requested approval for the 5th grade Family Pines Camp, or Friendly Pines Camp, excuse me. This is for the 2019 school year. That's March 27th through the 29th. Also, Mr. Adams has requested approval of the annual senior trip in 2019 to Magic Mountain and Disneyland. That would be May 20th through the 23rd of 2019. Also, we have some attachments there for high school athletics during their summer activities. Also, Ms. Clark is requesting approval of 6 administrators and 21 certified teachers to attend the SDE Differentiated Instruction Conference in Las Vegas. That will be July 8th through the 13th. I would ask for your approval of these out-of-state and overnight travel requests.
A motion for approval of overnight and out-of-state travel is presented.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item 4.2, approval of K-12 summer school. Mr. Housley.
Mr. President, members of the board, for your consideration, we have an annual item for summer school. Mrs. Clark is recommending approval of our K-12 summer school. Our summer school programs will be funded through the Title I grant. They run Monday through Thursday for 4 hours each day from June 4th to the 29th. And I would ask for your approval of this program.
I'll make a motion to approve K-12 summer school.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item 4.3, discussion and possible approval of hold harmless of Standard 8 from the 2017-18 teacher evaluation system.
So in discussions, Mr. President, with our administrative leadership team, talking about the teacher evaluation system, as noted in previous meetings, our teacher cadre has been spending most of the year reviewing our teacher evaluation system and revamping it according to state requirements and the need to change our evaluation system. We've also changed over to the way that we collect data, and Standard 8 is student achievement assessments. It says that Standard 8 will be based on student achievement based on classroom benchmark growth results. While we can collect the growth results, right now the way that the data comes into us is very cumbersome to navigate through. It would take a principal a long time to get those results, to have them available for the teacher evaluation system. So our recommendation this evening, Mr. President, members of the board, is that we hold teachers harmless for this evaluation year, and that all teachers would be granted the 10 points that are awarded in that section, holding them harmless to that growth piece that because of the way data is collected this year.
I'll make a motion for approval of the hold harmless.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions?
You are going to have a way to do that next year, is that, or is it?
Yes, we anticipate, with the way the data is coming in, we're transitioning with that data to Unified Classroom, and they had some, in their transition, they had some difficulty getting those reports to come out. So while we can get it through spreadsheets and a lot of mathematical work, it should be available on a dashboard for us next year.
Super.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 4.4, approval of Summer Junior Leadership Academy. Mr. Housley.
As you are probably familiar with, we host the Junior Leadership Academy at Nicholas Homestead, and in your board packet is an outline of that program, beginning with the first week on June 11th, and then going through the end of that program, June 22nd, and an outline that is there. I would ask that you would approve this program as we have in the past.
I'll move we approve the Junior Leadership Academy as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item 5.1, approval of resignations, terminations, and retirement.
Mr. President, we have two for your consideration this evening. We ask it for your approval and consideration. As a resignation, Mr. Kevin Curtis, high school culinary arts teacher. That was effective May 8th, just a few days ago. And then termination, Clint Brown, as a junior high, that says high school in your packet, but it's a junior high football coach, effective April 20th.
I'll make a motion for approval of resignations, retirements, and terminations as presented.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item 5.2, approval of new hires and transfers. Mr. Housley.
We've had a pretty decent hiring cycle and been able to fill most of our positions. We still have some that we're looking to fill, but those in front of you now are those who we have hired at this point. Diana Abel, high school early childhood teacher. Christopher Beeman, Nicholas Homestead, self-contained special ed teacher. Lindy Irvine, Whipple Ranch secretary. Dalton Jackson, junior high school science teacher. Morgan Kime, high school math teacher. Ashley Marshall, Whipple Ranch, self-contained special ed teacher. Eric Rask is the district psychologist. Ashley Robertson, high school assistant principal over discipline. And Tracy Snyder, Nicholas Homestead, EDP special ed teacher. Also summer hires, Mike Hall and Scott Ricker in our grounds and maintenance departments. And then transfers for your consideration, Suzanne Bray, transferring from Whipple Ranch second grade to Nicholas Homestead and Linden special ed teacher. Teresa Gaffney, from a route bus driver to a sub driver. Tammy Keene, from warehouse clerk to a route bus driver. Gabe Moya from Nicholas Homestead 5th grade to the junior high PE teacher, and Scott Ricker from a sub bus driver to a route bus driver. Mr. President, members of the board, I ask for your approval for these recommendations.
I make a motion to approve the new hires, and it's scary to me that there are now more students on the new hire, students that I had. It's making me feel really old. But so I make a motion to approve those new hires.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further comment? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item 5.3, approval of certified and classified substitutes. Mr. Housley.
We have a few for your consideration, Mr. President, members of the board. Barbara Brooks is a sub K-12 teacher. Robert Grueller, also in the K-12. Robin Owens as a substitute for K-12 as a classified substitute. Jessica Davis, a substitute teacher assistant. Amara Franco Garvin, substitute teacher assistant, and Amy White as a substitute food service worker. I ask for your approval on these for these individuals.
I'll move we approve the certified and classified substitutes.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 5.4, approval of stipends and volunteers. Mr. Housley.
Mr. President, I apologize we don't have this to put up on the board, but there are a large number, as you can imagine, with the summer school teachers, also with the the other camps and things that we have. So we have summer school teachers paid out of Title I grants. Also those that are lead teachers as far as that's concerned. We have our KinderFit registrar and KinderFit teachers, summer school substitute teachers, summer school food service workers, as well as some of our Shola High School students who work in food service over the summer, summer child find, and then stipends for high school band, baseball spirit line, summer weights, boys basketball, and the list just goes on and on, Mr. President. So I would ask for your approval of these individuals.
I make a motion for approval of stipends and volunteers.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I thought that we approved like a resignation for Monty Maxwell as head coach. Are we having him be the head coach for track again? I thought he resigned that.
Oh, yeah, last month.
Yes, he did. This is, he did resign the head coaching position last month. Uh-huh.
So but is this just approving stipends for, is this approving those positions? I
This
guess
is
I'm
approving the
confused.
stipends.
Just
for
the
those
stipends?
positions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can remove his name if you'd like.
If you'd like to remove his name.
No, is it just June and July though? Is that, like, I think I'm just confused on it.
So
I'm
if you'd like to
sorry.
approve it without his name on there, and then we can do some more clarification on that, we certainly could.
So I'll modify the motion to approve all those listed except for head track.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Do we need to specify the name or just?
No,
Okay.
okay.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to item 7.1, approval of 2017-18 budget revision number 2. Mr. Schubert.
Yes, so it is that time of year when the ADE requires us to do our final budget revision for the year. I want to take you all the way back to June when we gave you our proposed budget for this year and remind you that when we put this budget together that we were estimating our ADM and we chose to estimate high versus estimating low and not getting any monies recouped if we estimated low. So we did estimate high. We've done our budget revision that is before you. And with that budget revision, we had to trim out $150,000 out of our budget. So with that being done, it is now in front of you for your approvals. And we can look forward to June when we redo next year's.
Make a motion to approve the 17-18 budget revision number 2.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions on this? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. 7.2, approval of intergovernmental agreement between the district and NAVIT.
Mr.
Mr.
Schubert?
Schubel on this one too?
Yes, so every year we have the board sign an intergovernmental agreement, an IGA with NAVIT. This is just re-upping that agreement for the upcoming school year.
Standard, no changes?
No changes.
Excellent, thank you.
I motion for the approval of NAVIT agreement as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 7.3, approval of intergovernmental agreement between the district and NPC. Mr. Schubert.
Yes, this is just like the one you just approved with NAVIT. This is an annual agreement that we do with NPC. There are no changes to it as well. So we bring this to you for your approvals tonight.
I'll motion for the approval of the IGA between MPC and the district as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions?
Does this agreement contain part of the spring break issue that we've talked about in the past?
One more year away. Yeah.
There is nothing about calendaring spring break together in the agreement.
Maybe there should be.
Yeah.
Okay, with that said, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 7.4, the bond update. Mr. Schubert.
Yes, so Mr. Housley stole a little bit of my thunder with his superintendent report. So yes, we do have buses. We have bus. Let me rephrase that. We have a bus. It was delivered today around 4:45 this afternoon. This is the first of 11 new buses that we're receiving this year. As Mr. Housley said, we'll be getting 5 more on Friday, and the other 5 will show up the following Friday. So we will have all of our buses brand new and ready to go before the end of the month. So that is great news. Some more great news as far as the bond goes. On Tuesday, we actually sold our bonds. We sold them at a AA rating, which is better than most school districts get. So the investors around the globe were happy with what we do here financially as far as Show Schools goes, which was helping us to get that AA rating. It's a little side note on that. It was hung up at 67% for quite some time. Allstate Insurance wanted a better coupon rate. So we gave them their better coupon rate, and now they took the remaining 33% of the bond that was left. So Allstate holds 33% of our bonds. We did get a lot of buyers from national banking institutions, as well as some hedge funds and things like that. So our bonds are backed by a lot of solid dollars. We sold our bonds a week later than we had planned, which turned out to be a good thing for us. By doing so, the interest rates had dropped, so we were able to save 8 basis points on our interest. So we're looking at a maximum of interest of about 3.2%, which is significantly less than the 5% that was put out in the pamphlet for the election. So that is more great news.
Yeah.
Also this week, we met with our architects. We were able to go over some conceptual drawings and some plans for what we plan to do for our entrances and to secure the entrances to all our schools. Because right now, we're on the safety and security kick for our bond. We want to make sure that our students are safe when they come into school. So we're hitting strong on that aspect right now. We were able to speak with them about some changes that we would like to make to their plans, so they'll be coming back to us tomorrow with some more drawings. If you'd like to see those drawings, I have them available in my office. But other than that, that is our bond update for the month of May.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we move on, this is just really great news. I feel like we're just getting off on such a great first step, and I want to express gratitude to the people of our district who have shown their confidence in us, and to Mr. Housley and to Mr. Schubert for the administration of the district and how well that is going. Just feel really grateful. Without speaking for everybody, I hope I speak for everybody. Thank you. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Mr. Schubert, you're on a roll.
All righty, so let's finish this up strong. Tonight, we bring before you for your approvals the ratification of our expense and our payroll vouchers, the ratification of the junior high and the high school activity revenues and expenditures, approval of the governing board minutes for March, the 8th regular meeting, the April 24th special meeting, and the approval of the following donations. Ripples donated books and magazines to junior high teachers valued at $1,709. Will and Jennifer Talley donated a metal table and mixer to the junior high foods class valued at $300. White Mountain Firefighters donated $100 to the Junior High National Honor Society. And the Shola Youth Foundation made the following donations: $500 for a new Gaga playground pit at Nicholas Homestead, $500 for library books at Nicholas, $930 for Suzuki handbells at Nicholas, $378 for new PE equipment at Nicholas, $200 for a weather station at Nicholas, and $1,000 towards Camp Friendly Pines. Total from the Shola Youth Foundation was $3,508. So we bring before you all these tonight for your approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Express gratitude to those folks who donate to
Absolutely.
us month in and month out. So grateful. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 9.1, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you so much for being here this evening.